Live.
Yeah. Do you send us the link?
Yeah, it's live now.
Live.
Oh, wait, let me turn it down because otherwise we're going to get.
How do I find it?
I'm doing a live watch party. There, I'm gonna, there. That's weird.
Are you friends with me on Chayah?
Chayah, it's Aya.
Oh, no, it's Chayah.
Oh.
C-H.
Can you spell it?
C-H-A.
1 minute. C-H-A.
Y-A-H.
Y-A-H.
Development Project.
Got you.
Have you got me?
Yes.
Okay. Right, we're live.
We're all on live, you know. I'm watching you on live.
We know.
But they're still trying to set up something.
No, I've got it
Okay.
live here. I've got a watch party going on my Facebook as well.
Good afternoon and welcome to Real Talk. Today we have with us Councillor Richard McRae from Stapleford. And we've also got Jermaine
We know.
Shaw from the Omega New Grace. Can I ask you all to turn your volumes down on your phone because there's feedback?
Yeah, I've done that.
Good evening. Good evening. Good afternoon and welcome to Real Talk. Today we're going to have a talk to these two young men, and there is Kimberly Black that's hosting with me today. We're going to talk to these two young men about the work that they do in the communities to enrich the people within. So first I'll let Richard McRae Hi, Richard.
Yeah, good morning. Is it morning? No, it's not. It's good afternoon, isn't it? It's good afternoon.
Yeah. Introduce yourself, who you are, what you do.
Oh, crikey. I'll do a little bit, otherwise we'll be here all day, won't we? Right, Richard McRae. I'm an independent councillor in Stapleford. I'm on the Stapleford Town Council and Broxton Borough Council. I'm actually currently Deputy Mayor of Stapleford Town Council and Deputy Mayor of Broxton Borough Council. I'm on loads of different groups. I'm not going to name them all. They all know who they are. They're all brilliant and they all do loads of good work. That's why I'm on them all. And then the big thing for me is I'm one of the, I think there's two of us in Nottingham, but it's one of the biggest things in the world. I'm actually a member of the Universal Zulu Nation as well, which I'm absolutely over the moon to be a member of that. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And that inspires me a lot.
Thank you, Richard. And we also have Overseer Pastor Jermaine Shaw. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Well, my name is Pastor Jermaine Shaw. I'm a part of three important organizations. First, I'm the overseer and pastor of Omega New Grace Church in Nottingham. Not only that, I'm a part of PON, Prison Outreach Ministry. I'm a part of that for 5 years, where I travel all over the country and ministering to prison. And I'm a part of a prayer team called TEAK, where we go from different churches and pray for people. So that's quite exciting for me.
Okay, thank you. And Kimberly, I'll let you introduce yourself. You were the first guest on Real Talk a few weeks ago, and I think you had a lot of young people, especially females, looking and examining their lives. So I'll let you introduce yourself again.
Hi guys, I'm Kimberly Black. I am a born-again believer of God. I attend the Omega New Grace Church as well. I am also assistant director of a care company run by my parents called AIDS Gracefully Limited. So we look after the elderly, ill and disabled people. Within the church and community, I am the youth leader, and my focus is youth-led. And I've got a very strong background of where I'm coming from, and I love helping people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the first question I'm going to pose to both of you. you both from different avenues support communities. So you must have a passion for that. But first, Richard, tell me what made you go into this line of work and what do you get out of it?
Right, I always say this is my daughter because, and I get dead upset when I talk about this as well. So if I do, I'll apologise before I start because I'm a right wuss. And I always say my daughter because when she was born, and I just wanted to make the place better for her growing up, and it just snowballed from that. And then people just started contacting me saying you get stuff done. So but it's teamwork, and I always say that. People go, "Oh, thank you, Richard, for this," but there's people that help me. Whether it's at the council, whether it's in the community, whether it's your good self, it's teamwork always. But yeah, what inspires me is my daughter all day long.
Okay. And you, Pastor Jermaine?
The line of work or organization I'm a part of, I believe first thing is something that I am born to do. And what I mean I'm born to do, I've been a Christian from I was age 30, but my mom took me to church when I was 5, and I, fully commit my life to God and everything. And from that day, there was a passion and a drive for me to serve people. I like to serve people. I like to see people. First, I like to see people happy. That's why I've got a very comical side of me, because I like to see people happy. I like to serve people in any capacity that I can. Even to become a pastor. From I was going to school, I developed a strong desire to become a pastor, to preach the gospel, to see people become delivered and set free. I begin in school. I started preaching the gospel from when I was in primary school. And then when I came to this country as well, I became a pastor. And then I always have a desire to minister to young men and young women in prison. And it's so funny that I never know how, me and my wife, we never know how I'm going to get to that. There's a lot of red tape. And one day this lady come to the church, and she come to me and my wife and said, "You guys will be very good doing prison outreach." And we signed up for the course, and we went and we do the course and everything. And the first day, going 5 years ago, we stepped into Brixton prison to minister to the people. There was something that switched on inside of me that I think is going to be with me forever. Just to see people that are rejected, people that, society cast aside, people that have no more hope, you understand, they're behind bars, just to see their face light up, that, by us coming in there, giving them hope. You understand? I love serve people as a pastor. I am very passionate about my work. I will go miles. I've got a secular job, and for security reasons, I can't say what my secular job is on Facebook or Zoom. But I will walk away with that job right now and work in the kingdom for free. That's how passionate and that's how I love being a pastor, and I take my job very, very, very serious.
Okay. And Kim, I'm going to bring you into this as well, because I know you've got a passion for the job that you do in and out of the church. So can you tell me what, I know you're a director?
Yes,
sister. Yeah. Can tell me what keeps you going? Why that line of work?
Well, for me, when my mum and dad first started Age Gracefully, I'm a caring person, but the caring side of the technical side wasn't my strong suit, but administration wise, I had the qualification, and I'm very business minded. There's so much I want to do, even in the church, even in the community that's, business led. And I love helping. I love helping my parents. I love being able to give back to them, because there's so much that they've done for me, that some of what drives me in terms of Age Gracefully, I do for my mom, because she's such a great mom. She's such a great woman in my life, so that I want to give back to her. So even if it's just helping her to build her organization, and since then it's been a good learning curve for me, because now I've got a different sense that I probably didn't have before of the the elderly community. They're so not well looked after, and it makes you evaluate your life. you know, what I want to be, how I want to be treated when I'm older. Or you know, some of the things that some of the elderly people face is that their family, they abandon them at this point in their life when they really need them. And it makes you evaluate yourself even as a mother. Like, you know, am I doing enough for my children, so that am I teaching them the right things? Am I looking after them the right way, so that when I'm older, it's going to be an impact that, you know, like how I am for my mom. Like, I would never allow my mom or my dad to be in a nursing home, not getting enough visits, not being looked after properly, not being cared for, not being fed properly, which are some of the things that these elderly people face. So I may have gone into it for a different reason, but now I'm glad that we can be a difference and in, you know, some people's life. I wish we could reach everyone, but you know, for me, that's something that is kind of driving home. Like, I want to evaluate my situation so that when I'm older, it's, you know, the same kind of view I had for my parents. Like, I love them and I want to see the best for them in their times when they need me the most. And for as a Christian, obviously serving God is a rewarding thing. Just to be a better version of yourself daily, walking with God, it's an amazing thing. And helping the young people. When I was younger, so trying to serve God, it was a difficulty. So now being able to, you know, embark some stuff in the young people's being able to embark some stuff in the young people's life, being able to nurture them, to be able to look after them, to be able to guide them in the right way, it's also a very rewarding thing. And just to be there, because, you know, when I was growing up and doing all the wrong things, as a normal person, there wasn't a lot of people that I could go to and, you know, talk to and be real with, and they weren't going to judge me, but were going to try and help me. And I want to be that person for the young people, not just in Omega New Grace, but across the community. I want to be that person that someone can come to and get good advice and not be judged, or for their situation or their problems to be spread across Nottingham. So that's my passion, and yeah, I'm really passionate about those things.
Thank you. I'll throw this out to all of you. Young people seem to be the passion for all of us. And I know, Kim, you said the elderly, and I know we all look at the elderly, but we look at the youth today and we look at the passion. Let's take it back to the incident that happened in America this week, where the young man lost his life for little of nothing, but he's lost his life. Looking at where we are in the UK, what would we say to our authorities about our young people? How to support and care and have respect for our young people? What would you say, you know, to the local councillors and government? You know, and how would you signpost them to respect our youngsters?
I could come, all right, I will speak of on a pastor perspective, or being experienced dealing with young people in the past that was in prison. I believe our leaders need to stop stereotype our young people, you understand, especially our young Black community, in terms of whenever they see us one way, you understand? We are either thugs, drugs, or gangbangers. At the end of the day, you know, I've been in this country for 17 years, and 17 years ago when I came here, there was a lot of stuff for young people. Now the government took away all the stuff from the young people. Now they become idle. There's nothing for them to do. So for the government, they need to stop stereotype young people, because all young people are not the same. All young people are not thugs, are not gangbangers. You understand? And I remember one time when I got my first Mercedes Benz, and I was coming home from work, and police stopped me in my Mercedes Benz as a young Black man, asked me, where do I get my car from? How do I purchase my car? I'm in a good job. Anybody with good credit can drive any car you want if you can pay for it every month. So we are stereotyped one way, as if we look good, dress a certain way, we walk a certain way, or we carry ourselves a certain way, we are gangbangers. So my message to our local authority, you understand, first, stop stereotype our young Black people. Doesn't matter, to be honest, if you are Black, whatever color you are, or our young people, they need to do stuff, you understand, that will keep our young people occupied, you understand? And if we do not keep them occupied, there is nothing for them when they leave university. There's no job for them. There is no more apprenticeship, so they have nothing to do. And the next thing, we need strong leaders that will become role models to these young people. We need strong role models to these young people. If we are not careful, the gangbangers them will become their role model. You understand? They will entice them with money, with expensive stuff. And this is how they lower them in. This is how they groom them. You understand? Why? Because there is no job in society for them. You understand? These guys can go on the street and make £1,000 a day. You understand? Where they're going to say to themselves, there's nothing for me to do. Why am I going to work in Sainsbury's? You understand? For £11.50 an hour or £10 an hour. So our government needs to put things in place. You understand? To get the attention of our young people. You understand? Become role model to them. You understand? So that they can have something to look forward to. Stop stereotype them, because I've seen guys in prison. I've seen guys in prison, and the reason why they are in prison, you understand, wrong place at the wrong time amongst the wrong people. You understand? And some of these guys are good guys that grows up in good home. You understand? We have both parents that teach them right from wrong, but they're just at the wrong place. Police pick them up, you understand, and associate them with gangs and drugs and bang them up. So our local authority first need to don't keep on stereotype our young people, but begin to believe in them, begin to see a future in them, you know, begin to do create stuff for them for do. So when they leave school or university, they got something meaningfully to do. You understand? Set up programs, you understand, that can help our young people so that they can be developed, so that they can, let me tell you, our generation are in trouble. And if we don't do something quick, the next 10 years from now, this world is going to be in chaos. Why? Because there's no father in the home, there's no role model. I know where the father name is. You understand? 90% of them are in prisons. I see them on Sundays. You understand? Or they're in the pub, or they're in the gambling den. But we can change. You understand? Society, we can change. You understand the perception of young people if we begin to invest in them, if we begin to put back in them, if we begin to believe in our young people again. Sit down with them, talk to them. Don't first think, oh, we're going to put them in prison, but sit down and talk to them. What can we do as a government to help you to become a better person?
Okay. Richard, can I pose that to you? Because you're in an area where, when we met you, we actually came as a group. You're there. But tell me about where you live, because it's a small community, but it's had its issues.
Yeah. We had problems the other year with youngsters. And I ain't going to say naughty kids, because I hate that, because they're not naughty kids. They're just kids that need some help. And there was kids getting into trouble. There was a gang of them. That's what it was. It was a gang of kids getting into trouble. And people was social media, when I was in meetings, you know, you walk in the streets, everyone's like, oh, naughty kids are doing this, naughty kids are doing that. Nobody actually sat and spoke with them. So that's what we did, didn't we? So we got these kids. We got them in the youth club, where they were banned from. They weren't allowed in the youth club. The youth club wouldn't let them in. So we got them back in there again. And we did like a pre-youth club session, didn't we? And we brought them in. There was a group of them. I'm not going to say any names because it ain't about that. But there was a group of them. We brought them in, and it was a little bit of hard work. But you guys, Chayah Group, Justin, and all the others, absolutely amazing. You heard Justin speak last week. And sit and listen to the kids. Ask them what they want. Ask what they want to do. Give them some worth. And that's what we did, didn't we? And then antisocial behaviour was like right up here. It was crazy, mad. They was doing everything. And then it went right down like that. And that was over 8 weeks. And we wanted to do it through the summer. And unfortunately, none of the venues would let us use them over the summer because, like, oh, we don't want people like that in here. And this was in Stapleford. People said, oh, we don't want that kind of people in our place. And no one would give them a chance. So it stopped over the summer. Now, luckily, it didn't go like that again. It didn't spike again. It stayed down. Right, one of them, I think the family moved out the area, which was a good thing. They wanted to do that. One of the others didn't. We got one of them a job, didn't we? Working in a garage for a little bit. All right, he turned up and he gave it a go. It wasn't his thing, but you know, we did that. Hey, look, we've lost Chayah. I don't know where she's gone. She's perhaps gone to the chip shop to get some dinner. We work with them youngsters, And we got the police coming in to talk to them, but when the police came down, they wasn't wearing uniform, so there was no intimidation there. And we just spoke to them on, you know, their level, listen to them. We didn't tell them what to do. We asked them what they wanted to do, and we worked with them. And that's all they need, isn't it? They need some worth. They need to know that they're worth something. They need to know that, you know, there's people there to listen to them and give them the opportunities that they sometimes just don't get. You know, the kids. You got to help them grow up, haven't you? You need people there to, like you say, you need the role models and that. Well, but we did all that, and even now when I see them, I was talking to some of them the other week. I took them some drinks and some food and stuff. You know, the politest kids now. You know, they'll say please and thank you and that. You know, and that goes a long way. But yeah, that was all down to the work of the Chayah group, and we need to do more things like that. But you can't tell them what to do. You've got to listen to them, ask them what they want, and then try and make it happen for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we've lost the host.
It's our internet.
Right.
Let's say for she will. Is it still on Facebook? Is it,
It's still saying that, yeah.
It's still live.
Okay. I'm not sure what's happened there.
We've completely lost the host. Now she's gone altogether.
Okay. Should we continue?
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
ask
let's go.
questions.
Okay. I'm going to ask you both, what are some of the things that you guys want to implement to make a change in young people's life?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, you want to go first, Richard?
Oh, me.
Yeah,
I
go on,
was going to let Jermaine. Right. What would I like to implement to help the youngsters? I don't know. We need training, more training for them, because Stapleford's about what 5 or 6 miles from Nottingham, and everything seems to be city based, and this is probably happening in other places as well. Everything's in the city. Not everyone wants to go into the city. Sometimes you've got to do local stuff. So you know, we've got these buildings that can be converted, which there was myself and another councillor a few years ago, and we was working on a project, and we'd approached a local school and they was interested. We'd spoke to a local college, university, Derby Uni actually. It wasn't Nottingham, it was Derby. We'd found a building in Stapleford that was suitable. It could have been set up, and we'd got local developers that was going to come and teach them like bricklaying skills and stuff like that, because you know, you've got to show people what's out there and teach them and let them have a go. So we wanted to kind of get people into building and that, because it's, you know, whether you like it or not, HS2, that's a big thing. If it comes, that's a lot of work in the local area. There's lots of places that, whether you like it or not, if it's going to happen, you know, there's places where lots of houses are being built. Someone's got to build them. So let's get teaching the youngsters how to do it all. So we've got everything ready to go. Unfortunately, it just all fell apart, and it didn't happen because higher up, there was no interest there, which was sad. We've got everything to go. The uni was ready to move in like the day before rather than the day after. They wanted to do it. So you've got to set up local training schools, training academies, whatever you want to call them, because there's people out there that will do it. There's a lot of people with a lot of skills, and they're more than happy to pass it on down to the youngsters. So yeah, we need to have training centres and localised training places where we can get them involved and, you know, get them excited about it and that, because they'll make a ton of money and it's legal and they ain't going to prison, are they?
No. Pastor Jermaine?
Yeah, for me, as I said earlier, first we have to believe in them as well. We have to love them, support them, and believe in them again. And as what Richard said, we need to begin to train them. England is very academic. Everything is about bookwork, study to become lawyer, doctor, this and that. It's not everybody have the brains or the capacity to study a book or to study a type of career that will bring them in an office or to be a doctor or to be a lawyer. But begin to teach our young people skills. Give them skills, you understand, that they can fall back on if they're not good in the bookwork. Because my mom sent me to school to learn a trade, to become a carpenter. And I remember when I came to this country and meet and reach up a very hard, difficult time, you understand? So I find myself fall back on that. So I don't have to turn to go and sell drugs or anything. We need to begin to set up our programs for our young people and begin to teach them trades, give them trades so that if they academically cannot handle the book or the 50 hours studying a night time, because it's not everybody have the ability to do that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, they got something to fall back on as young people. The government needs to invest a lot on the young people by setting up apprenticeship, setting up things that will teach them skills. We have this thing in Jamaica called art. You understand? And all they do, they teach them skills to become electricians, to become plumbers. I went to Art Academy in Jamaica and learned skills. And today it can help me. You understand that if I lost my office job, I've got something that I could fall back on so I can be able to feed my family. So the government needs to invest more in our young people, support them. Whatever it needs for our young people to become better men and better women of tomorrow, the government must invest. The government must spend the money. The government must help them. This is what's going to keep them off the street. This is what's going to take them away from the wrong company.
Can I ask you something about that? Yes, we say the government, but looking at from where I am, if we wait for the government, we'll have nothing. Don't you think things should start within the community? You know, the stuff that we could do. There's enough small businesses within each community. If we went to them and they invested in their community, we could enrich that area, and it would hopefully follow on in other communities. But first, I think it needs to start at home, which is wherever we live or wherever our passion takes us. So if we wait for Parliament, we'll have nothing. There's no youth clubs. There is nothing. And as far as they're concerned, they don't live here. They don't know how our young people feel. They don't know how parents feel when there is nowhere for your young child to go and have a safe space. So I really believe, this is me, the community centres that are left dormant, we need to ask for those keys and go into those places and do activities in there to engage our young people. We ourselves, when we see a young person on the street, stop walking past them. Talk to them, find out what they want, what is missing. And in that way, we can start building something in our areas. I'm not waiting for our local council. I'm not even going to my local councillors in the St. Anne's area, because they say yes, and how long do you wait?
I agree with you, Minister Chayah, in regards to that. I believe, and me and Pastor Sharon spoke all the time, that the church needs to get involved as well. We as the church need to get involved in terms of helping our young people. You understand? If we, even as the church, have to go to the government for help or for funding so that we can help our community. You understand? Bulwell is very big, and there's a lot that the churches, not only Omega New Grace, because we can't stand alone, but if all the churches, you understand, come together as one, I said, okay, then the government ain't helping them. Because remember, these young people, their mother and grandmother come to our church. You understand? These young people, they used to come to Sunday school. You understand? Their parents give their time and their services to our churches. So we as a church can give back to our young people by setting up after school program. You understand? I even heard Pastor Sharon was saying that, we could even have a room with computer. So we got teachers, we got qualified teachers in the church that can teach our young people how to use the computer. We can teach them skills. We can teach them basic skills that they can go out, you understand, and do to make a living. So I believe first, it begins in our home first, where our parents have to begin to invest in our young people. Parents have to begin to impart wisdom, you understand, and begin to steer our young people in the direction. We cannot only rely on the government, because at the moment, the government keeps failing our young people. You understand? The government is not helping as much as they should as a government. So it begins in our home, and then we can start, all churches can start in their local community to see in what area and how we can be of help to our young people, you understand, so we can take them off the streets, so we can take them out the gang. Make no sense to pray, you understand, because prayer and faith without works is dead. We got to become practical with our young people and begin to do with them, begin to spend time with them, set up things for them that when they finish school, they can come, you understand, and can learn a trade or learn some form of skill. but it can begin in our community. Every churches in your community, we can be of a good and tremendous help to our young people.
Richard, Montrose Court.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, and there's more than them as well.
Yeah. Yes. Tell us a bit about what they do there, around there.
Like I said, there's loads of churches in Stapleford. There's quite a lot. So if I miss any out, I'm not doing it on purpose. It's just it is what it is. And like I think the parish church is St Helens. They've got I think they call it a plant. This is I could do my mum standing at the side of me to tell me. So I'll do my best. And if I get it wrong, she can tell me off later. So they set up what they call is a plant, and it was a post office, which is quite funny because it was a post office. Now it's the church have took it on. If you go St Anne's, it was a post office, and you guys have got it. So there's loads of similarities, and it's kind of the same. Bang in the middle of the community. It's right in the middle of an estate, which I'll say was rife with drugs. And I've said that in council meetings, and I've been told I shouldn't be talking about it. This isn't now. This was a while ago. It's different now. I've stood in council meetings and I've spoke about drugs in the community, and the council should be doing something. And you you can't just go, it's a police issue all the time. And I was told it shouldn't be on the agenda. We shouldn't be talking about it. And one councillor used to get up and walk out the room when I was talking, which absolutely baffles me, because if you stick your head in the sand, and I nearly said stick your head up your arse, but I don't want to say that. But if you stick your head in the sand, the problem, you can't see it. It doesn't go away. It's still there. So you've got to tackle it. And as I said earlier, you've got to work with the youngsters and whatnot. But yeah, so you've got Montrose Court. They took over the building, and it's a church. They do their thing several days, several sessions in the week. A lot of the old folk are up there, and youngsters as well. It's open to everybody. They do stuff out on the grass on the front, like sessions in the holidays and whatnot, like kids clubs and whatever. They do loads of stuff. They've got a food bank in there, which is obviously busy at the minute, as they all are. And yeah, and the lady that used to run it has now moved into Clifton. So that was, people were sad that happened, and I was happy. And I don't mean that in a bad way, because we was trying to get it into Clifton, wasn't we? And then all of a sudden, Lydia moves to Clifton. Bosh, there's the inn into Clifton. So, it is what it is. And now you've got Emma, who's took over, and she gets on with everybody. So I'm sure once this is all, because she's only just took over and then it kind of went lockdown. So, I'm sure she's got some good plans that will engage the community. But the drugs has gone down. I'm not saying it's stopped, because it hasn't. But it ain't like it used to be. You don't get people hanging around outside there because it's too busy. There's people up there all the time. So yeah, you've got to go into the community. A church doesn't have to be a big building with a pointy steeple on the top, does it? Not anymore. But then at the same time, just round the corner, and it ain't too far away, there's another place called the Haven. They're the same, and it's an old school, so that's quite big. They've got a food bank in there again. They're really busy at the minute. The guys are doing what they do. I think they've got a youth club in there one night a week. They do loads of stuff. They've got planters outside. They've got sporting things. They've got a work club in there. They've got computers where they help people get into work and to use computers and that, because it's it is what it is. It's different, but they're doing all the things that you said. So yeah, we're doing pretty well in Stapleford actually. And then there's other churches like that do other things, but I'd say your main two that probably engage a lot with the youngsters. And this isn't saying that the others don't. I don't want people thinking, no, it's just what I see. Is the Haven and Montrose Court, definitely. They're definitely doing their thing out in the community, because they're in the community. Do you know what I mean? They're not in the town centre. They're on the outskirts.
I'm going to ask a question, and I might get blasted, I might not. But
You might.
Okay. Right. Our children grow up together, and they go through nursery together. When does this separation of faith, culture, race, why is that coming? Because we all go, as kids, we all grow up and we're innocent. When has this colour difference or race or creed or whatever, when did that come in?
I don't know. I mean, I've got friends of every colour you can imagine, and I don't get it, because I've just, there's good and bad in everything, isn't there? You've got, I don't know, I sometimes call them Sunday Christians, where then, our souls all week and nice on a Sunday. You can't be like that. Aren't you supposed to be nice every day? It don't matter what colour you're from, what language you speak. I've done sessions with people where I ain't got a clue what they're saying, and someone said, oh, we'll get an interpreter. I'm like, no, because we're working together, we're doing it, you don't have to be able to speak the same language to be able to get on and be nice with each other. I don't get it. I really don't, because there's no need for people to be falling out. And where did they get it from? I genuinely don't know. I don't know. It's passed down. I don't know. Is it like a family thing? I don't know, because kids, you learn from what you see, you learn from what you hear. So, you know, they look up to the adults, don't they? And they copy, they replicate what they hear. So I don't know. How do you break that cycle?
I believe society can change us. And I was watching a thing with Steve Harvey online the other day, where at this school in America, they got twin day. And this white kid said to his mom, he found this twin at school. He said, "Hey, Mom, I found my twin." And the mom said, "What?" She said, "Yeah." He said, "Mom, I found my twin. So can you buy the same clothes?" And the mother buy the same clothes for this white Caucasian child. When the mom bring it to school, it was a black child. The boy said to the Caucasian child said to the mother, "Him have my eyes and my hair." But when the mother goes to school, it's a totally, completely different child. It was his best friend, but he see that him and his best friend is twin. Children are innocent. Kids are so innocent. Steve Harvey asked the mother, "Would you tell your son that there is a difference?" And she said, "No, why leave him? If this is how he see this black child as his twin, leave him." But as he's going to grow older, society is going to tell him that you are different from the other person. You understand? And as to what Richard said, I believe it's watered down. You understand, where they're coming up and become more older and everything. The family tell them that that's a white child, or that's a black child, or that's a Chinese, or whatever. We don't tell them that's a human being, that's a person. We tell them the color. We differentiate, we separate people by their color, not by their personality or who they are. So they don't tell that child that's the next human being. We tell them that's a child of color, or that's a Chinese person. So if we raise our kids to see a person, not a color, I think that this world would be a better place. We would not see race anymore. We will not see ethnic majority or minority. We would just see human being. Because I've got a lot of friends at work that is white, and I've never feel different around them. I have never feel like I am a black person. They just treat me like Jermaine, and I treat them like who they are. So if we begin to teach our young people, you understand that that's not a colored person, or that's not a white person, that's a human being, that is somebody, I think that we will have a better world, and the society will be more peaceful, and we will not have what we see happen in America the other day.
Okay, Richard, let me go back to you. As someone that applies for funding, we look at funding and we see funding broke down into areas: disability, BME, and then there's the generic funding. Now, if you wanted to apply for BME funding, how do you think that would set you up?
I ain't got a clue, because it does my head in when it's like, oh, you can only get funding for, I don't know, like we were saying before this video started, and you've heard me say it loads of times. You can only get funding because you're in the county. You can only get funding because you're in the city. And then we're telling so we're putting that postcode thing there. We're putting that county lines there. You know, how do we tell the kids don't fall out with someone in another place? And I know when I was younger, we used to do it. We used to fall out of other places, but I'm older now, so I know it was stupid. But how do we, you know, when you go into places to try and get funding and that, and they're putting too many barriers there to stop you getting it, are you supposed to say to the youngsters, don't fall out because of colour, don't fall out because of race, don't fall out because you like a different kind of music, don't fall out because you live in a different area, when it starts on a bloody application form for trying to get some funding to help these youngsters? Don't make sense, does it?
Kim, as a young person yourself and having to work, you're working with the youth. What barriers has that brought for you?
Well, so far, we've not gone out into the community or to the wider community as yet. That's something that we're working on as a ministry. But I think the barriers that I find with the young people our ministry is keeping them engaged, keeping them excited. Their focus is so broken these days. It's more about the game and the phone and social media and posting this and posting that. And there is no real value in that. It's kind of getting that time with them, to spend that time with them. And what I try to do with them, as well as teaching them good values as, you know, young believers, is I try to, you know, get them to see me for me, and not, oh, I'm an adult and I'm here to be boring or whatever. I try to do fun things with them. Try to, you know, we've been out on fun activities, and obviously now we're doing the Zoom youth night, where our focus at the moment is getting them to pray, you know, successful prayer, getting the intercessory in them out, getting away some of the shyness, get them to be more bold. And I think, to be fair, I mean, people might disagree with what I'm going to say, but I think as young believers, their value for life is a lot more enhanced. As, you know, when we teach them certain things, like, you know, teaching them to be, you know, more responsible, to come online on their own. And I think those are life skills to help them to be responsible with their schoolwork when they get a bit older, with their university and college work, you know, taking responsibility for their own things that they're doing. And that will help them to be, you know, more successful in life, really. So the barrier really at the moment I'm finding is keeping them engaged, especially in this time with COVID-19. They're not very focused. It's trying to get them to refocus on the things that, you know, are very important. Whereas, you know, their studies and church and all of those things that they would normally do if we wasn't in lockdown. So right now, the focus is a massive challenge. It's hard to get them to re-engage and to come online, and you know, all of the once they're there, they're engaging and they're having a great time. You've been on the sessions with us. They're really excited and they're really happy and they're learning. And, you know, even the things that would be boring, like prayer and studying for a quiz, you know, which would be really terrible for them, they are actually doing and enjoying. So it's getting them to focus, getting them to come on. That is a real struggle. Getting them to come out before the lockdown, come out to church. That was a struggle. That's the struggle I get, because I'm not tooting my own horn or anything. But having been a youth not so long ago myself, I know what young people are lacking, if that makes any sense. I know how to engage with any kind of young person because I've been on both fence. I've been a naughty kid. I know we said we don't want to use that word, but that was my past. I was a naughty kid. I was a fighter. I was my mouth, I could, you know, cuss and make you cry. I've been there, and now I'm saved. You know, I'm walking God's way, and I know the benefit of being saved, the benefit of serving God. So I've got both of those things. So I know how to reach young people once they are there. But getting them to actually come out is the barrier that I'm finding.
Let's change the focus a bit, because I was talking to a young man yesterday, and we were talking about mental health in the community and the suicide rates. And looking at figures, if we look at mental health, they're being supported in the community, which has led to death rates, suicides, self-harming, you know, drug-induced deaths happening. What we'll go to you, Pastor Jermaine, first, and then to Richard.
Yeah.
What do you think is missing to help these, especially young men, because it's the young men that seem to be dying? What could you think the church could do?
All right. Very good question. And I'm glad you asked me this question. Especially for young men, we need, as I said earlier, we need strong and good role model in our church. First, we cannot be all that spiritual in church, speaking in tongues, praying, falling out. We need people, we need men with strong leadership skills. You understand, men that know how to lead first in their home. We need a lifestyle to be fashioned in front of our young people, especially our young men. You understand? Where when you go to churches now, you hardly see young men, you hardly see men in church. You understand? You know, most church is women running things and everything. Our young boys ain't see no leadership, you understand, in churches anymore. They need to say good role model. As a pastor, I endeavor every single day, and I try my tremendous best to be a role model, to be a mentor to young men, to teach them how to become men, to teach them how to be strong men. This is what we need to teach them, because society has changed now. Everything in this world is fast. Everything in this world is quick. You understand? You know, if you don't want to cook, you understand, you could get a hot meal within 5 minutes, come to your door. You understand? We need to begin to train our young men to be men. How are we going to train them? Give them responsibility. Teach them how life is going to be rough, because life is not smooth and sweet all the time. But how you going to handle life when certain stuff come up against you? I remember when I was a child growing up, and sorry, and how I become so mature quick. You understand? Because I hung around a lot of older men than me. I was raised up with my uncle, because my uncle owned a factory in Jamaica. So from I was 13, I'm driving truck. My uncle taught me to drive from me at 13. I was 11 when I started to work. When I used to earn my own money, I was 11, working with my uncle, pack blocks, working on his block factory. You understand? What my uncle was doing, he was teaching me to become responsible. He was teaching me how to become a man, how to take care of my responsibility. My uncle is a very good role model. And before his eyes closed, he will know that my uncle have about 12 children. Maybe more, but 12 that I could count off. I'm missing my uncle look after all of his 12 children them. Every single one of them, my uncle, you understand, was a part of their life. And I grew up seeing that, you know, that a man must be responsible. He must be able to take care of responsibility. We must teach our young men that, listen to me, trouble is going to come. Difficulty in life is going to come. But what are you going to do when they come? Are you going to, you understand, go in a corner and begin to cry? My uncle always said to me, boy, act like a man, act like a man. In other words, become responsible, face that challenge. You understand? You understand, face to face. I said, listen to me, I'm not going to run away from challenges. But watch this now. In England, 75% of home in England are single mothers. We don't have men in our home training our young men. It's mothers. Some, and we always hear these words, I'm your father and I'm your mother. A woman cannot be a father. She can only be a mother. Don't care how much you try, you cannot be a father. Every child needs a father. Every daughter needs a father, and every son needs his dad. So you understand? The daughter needs her father to train her how a man's supposed to treat her, to train her how a man's supposed to love her, to train her how a man's supposed to respect her. He must be the first man ever take her on a date. He must be the first man who's supposed to love her. He must be the first one who's supposed to hug her. You understand? He must able to train her. And how he gonna do that? The way how he trains her, he teaches his mother, our mother. You understand? Every young man needs a father. You understand? That when a young man get up, I say that man get up early in the morning and he go and do an honest job, and he come back in the evening and he give the wife the money to take care of the bills. He make sure that his house is with food. When trouble come, when difficult come, he don't cry and run to the his wife. But he said, baby, don't worry, I got this. I'm the man, chill. I got this. And he makes sure that his house is in order. He makes sure that everybody is in order. He bring order in his house. Secondly, he bring discipline. You understand? We need to show our young men how to be men of distinction, men of honor, men of notability. But we as a church, and even me as a male pastor, I have to fashion that lifestyle in front of our young men, how to become men of responsibility, you know, because these young men now, because our society changed, they want the quick money. They don't want to work for the money. You understand? They want the Mercedes, but they can't wait 10 years for the Mercedes. They want it now. And what they don't understand, that if you go the wrong way to get the Mercedes today, you're going to end up behind bars. We got to teach them values that with anything in life that you want, you have to work very hard for it. You have to get up early and go to bed late at night. You understand? I was working, as I said, from the age 11, and it teach me how to be responsible. It teach me how to be disciplined. It let me love work. It showed me the value of work. That's anything that I use my hard-earned money and buy or pay for, I value it more because I know how I get it. But watch these young guys, when they get the money from selling illegal stuff or they get it the wrong way, it goes quick. You understand? When they're locked up behind bar and they're not living the lifestyle, because I see this, when they're not living the lifestyle that they used to live in the world or out in society, they become mentally disturbed, they become suicide because they are stripped from the easy life. They're not trained in the home how to handle the hardship. They're not trained in the home how to become disciplined, how to be patient, how to wait until a better come. They're not trained in the home, you understand, to become men that are responsible, that know how to take care of a woman. These guys don't know how to take care of a woman because all they know to do is get the expensive trainers to look at and that. And they dress nice, they're very handsome, they know how to put themselves together, but they don't know how to be fathers. They don't know how to be husband. Why? Because they're not trained. So the church, and I will say the church, we as male pastors must be example in our churches. And now we're going to be example in our churches. We have to have one wife. You understand? The Bible said, when the Apostle Paul was talking to Timothy, he said, you cannot lead the church if you can't run your house well. We have to be example in our home well. The church must see our children be disciplined and be in order. The church must see our family, our home, our wife, children in order.
Okay. Let me just move to Richard with this.
Yeah.
Sorry, I get your gist, but let's get Richard in because we're running.
Okay, sorry. Go on, Richard.
No. It's interesting to listen to you. I could sit there all day doing that. What I was going to say, we spoke ages ago when I came over to see you at St Anne's about a gentleman's club, and it isn't a place where you get a lap dance and a cigar and some whiskey. I'm sure them places exist, but that wasn't what we were talking about when we said gentleman's club. And it came about because some of my Zulu Nation friends that's in New York, they set up the gentleman's club, and it was basic things. And like I said, this is something that we wanted. Well, we did speak about, and let's hope we can do it moving forward. Was where you get these youngsters to come along, and it was simple things like teaching them how to tie the shoelaces, teaching them how to shake hands with people. How to greet somebody, how to introduce yourself, and just grooming. Says the guy with a big dirty grey beard, but. And it was just simple things like that like you said, that your dad would teach you, and because it's missing, he says, well, then we'll set up this. It doesn't have to be called a gentleman's club. It probably means a different thing over here. But it was something like that. So where you can get role models to come along. I'd spoke to the leader of Broxton Borough Council about it, Millen, and he wanted to come along and talk as well. So fair play to him, and there was other people as well. So there's all these different role models out there that's in all different kinds of lines of work. They're all successful people, I would say they are, and get them to come along and talk. Tell their story, talk to these youngsters, and show them that you can do that. I mean, I always laugh because of what I do now, and like the other week they said, "Oh, Deputy Mayor Broxton," and I'm still like, wow. It's just it's unbelievable, and I always say if I can do it, anybody can. But yeah, we need to set these things up. It's sad that we need to, because we shouldn't have to. People should be there doing these jobs, but they're not. So we've got to do something to help, and we need to set these little things up. Do you know what I mean? It's not hard, is it? We can do it. Like I said, the community's got to do it, and we can do it.
Right, Richard, the Gentlemen's Club, which is something we spoke about with another councillor and stuff, and we were going to have the men's appreciation back in April.
Yeah.
That was cancelled. But I'm going to come to you, Kim, because I would say to you, I'll ask you a question. What is a positive role male model? What would you expect one to look like or behave?
Someone that has a future plan, someone that is walking in a way that will portray in a successful manner. So somebody that has a job or has a career or has a business, or, you know, like Richard is a positive figure in the community, or runs a project, or like Pastor Jermaine, a pastor. So someone that is related to the word, then success then. Someone that's trying to make a difference. Someone that wakes up daily wanting to create positive atmosphere and outcomes. So to me, you know, these two men that you've gotten here today are positive role models. You know, one of them said that they started, you know, being community focused leader because of their daughter. That's somebody that is looking, you know, in a way that his, you know, just his daughter alone can, you know, look at him and say, you know, my dad is a great dad and he's doing, you know, he's doing good things. Pastor Jermaine, you know, he struggled when, you know, if you've heard his story, he struggled when he first came here, but now, you know, he's successful and he's giving back, you know, in many different ways he just spoke about. To me, a positive role model for a man or a boy growing up is someone that is focused on making a better life in the world, in the community, that is driven by their career, by their strife, you know, that is working, hard working, not someone that wants easy money. And, you know, they were talking and they were saying about, you know, young people struggling because they want easy money. That's one of the things. But there are ways to get money which are easy, that is not illegal. So, you know, some of these young people just don't know about that. So it's about, you know, that person that is striving and showing up. Positive role model men need to show up. That's some of the issues that, you know, young men have, abandonment issues, because, you know, their fathers, their uncles, all these people, men in their life that's supposed to be there, don't show up. You know, someone that you can count on, being reliable. I think these two men are that you've got on here on Real Talk today are a positive example of good role model for young men.
Right. Can I just read some comments out that someone's put on the live stream thing? Because I don't want them to think we're ignoring them. I didn't realise it was there. Alan's put a wavy hand. We can't really reply to that one, can we? But he kisses hedgehogs, so there you go. Right. I'll just say the first name, and then so Bev's put, you have to gain the trust of kids before you can start to help them do anything. Befriending schemes need to start at schools. Trust is the key word. And then Donna, I guess you know who that is. There are many mothers who have brought their children up to be fine and good human beings without a father. And then we've got Bev's put, kids won't trust you because you're preaching to them. And then we've got down here, we've got, hang on, this is Denise. If you work with children, you have to build up a relationship with them and gain their trust. Let them see you can talk to them and that you are there for them, non-judgmental of them. And then Bev's someone who has time to listen. That's kind of what we was doing at the youth club, isn't it? And I know there's others that do that, but that's what we was doing, wasn't it?
It was. And Kim, I'm going to come back to you, because you just described someone who has a plan, has a focus, someone that wants to do things for their community and stuff like that. Now, I could say, looking at that, you just described Donald Trump.
No.
You know, no, but he is a positive role model, because not him. Now, we may look at Donald Trump and think he's not, but he has set a precedence for quite a few men to follow.
Yeah.
Because he's determined to do and get to where he needs to get. But if we come back to reality and we look at, like, I met Richard, when the first time I met Richard, I went, whoa, he's got gold teeth. You know what I mean? And if you look at society, you expect to see a black guy with his gold teeth more than you see a white guy. But I look at I see Richard now, and I don't see him as Councillor Richard. He's my fam. You know, we speak nearly every day. You know, do you want this? Do you want that? And Richard is down to earth. You know, and the young people that I met through him at Stapleton, they had nothing negative to say about him. And that's why I didn't say a positive role model should look a certain way. A man in a suit, a man with no tattoos, a man with clean shaved face and
I never said a positive role
Picking
model
on you,
should
Richard.
look.
I know, look,
No, I
I
wasn't.
got gold teeth. I haven't had a shave and I'm covered in tattoos.
That's why I didn't say that a positive role model should look or dress a certain way, because you can be absolutely successful and giving back and doing the right things, but you know, be full of tattoos and wear tracksuit everywhere, or do you know what I mean? Or like to wear shorts, or like to wear football kits everywhere. Doesn't mean that you're not successful. Doesn't mean that you're not, a positive role model. That's why I did not say anything about the person's look.
Okay. Let me ask both of you, gentlemen, what would you like your legacy to be?
Wow.
On that one, why I think.
Oh, wow. I like people to remember me as a tremendous role model, especially men, that somebody that they can look up to, to say, I am who I am today because of Pastor Jermaine. I am a better man, I'm a better husband, and I'm a better father because and I'm not saying that I am perfect. I am no way perfect, but I want people to remember me of how I impacted their life. You understand? Because of how we impact other people's life, that's how people is going to remember us. So if I impact your life positive, people's going to remember you of that. And if I impact your life in a negative, there are people who have impacted my life negatively, and that's all I can remember. Even though there is good in them, you understand. But I want people to remember me of how I impacted their life. That when they look in their life, they say that if I never met Jermaine, I wouldn't become this man I become today. And I want people to remember me that whenever they feel sorry or feel down, I put a smile on their face.
Okay. Well, Richard.
Right, crikey, that's a tricky one, isn't it? I don't know. I remember ages ago. I don't know if this helps, because I organise job fairs and stuff like that. And I remember I was walking along the street one day, and this guy was going along, and he got all his high vis stuff on. He was on a push bike, and I didn't recognise him. He was staring at me, and I thought he's going to say something, but I didn't know what. And he pulled up. He was on his bike, and he stopped, and he says, "Are you that guy that does the job fairs?" And I went, "Yeah." He says, "Oh, I just wanted to say thank you." Well, I didn't recognise him. And I went, "Oh, okay." He says, "Well, I came to your job fair because I do 2 a year." And he says, "I came to your job fair the other month." So it was a September years ago. And he says, and I got an interview and I got a job. And he says, "I've not seen you since. This is the first time he'd seen me." And he says, "I just wanted to say thank you." He says, "Because he got the job, he's working on a building site and doing some work which was not far away." And he says, "And when that finishes, he's going somewhere else." So they kept him on. And he says he got his wages and he's able to buy presents for his kids for Christmas. And I just thought, you know what, that's pretty cool, isn't it? So, someone who helps people and if you say you're going to do something, do it. Don't just go like, I don't know, here's my election leaflet, vote for me because I'll do that, and then don't do anything for the next 4 years because you got elected. Do stuff anyway, and if you get elected, you do. If you don't, you don't. Just do stuff. Be nice to people. Help people.
Integrity.
And when that guy actually said that to me, I was like, wow. It was easy for me. I just made some phone calls, did some emails, spoke to some people, got a venue, put a job fair on. But he actually turned up. He got an interview. He got a job. He's getting paid. He still works there now. He can buy things for his kids. And I'm like, you know what? If I hadn't done that job fair, he'd have got a job. Of course he would, somewhere else. But it's little things like that. And it's only when you look back, because I forget his name now. It'll come to me in a bit. It popped up on your computer once, and I says, "Oh, I know him. My mind's gone blank." You remember? You know what? If I don't find it, this Henry Baptiste. Remember?
Henry Baptiste, yeah.
He helped me do my job fairs, and he actually said to me one day, he says, "Sit down, write down what you do, and look at it, and realise how much of a change you make into people's lives." And I actually did it once, and I was like, "Wow." Because you just do it. My daughter's here now as well, so say hello, Danny. Say hello to you. So yeah, you got to do things, and if you help one person, that's pretty cool, isn't it? But if you help more than one, you know, it's pretty good. So yeah, I have to be remembered as someone that can make a difference in their life, and then it's a snowball effect, isn't it?
Okay. Today we've got Richard McRae from Stapleford, Nottingham, and Pastor Jermaine Shaw from the Omega Church, and Kimberly Black, also from the Omega Church. She's a youth minister. We're talking about, you know, things that these three have done within their communities to support and empower other people. I'll answer for you, Richard. The legacy that I can see you leaving behind, Richard, is your name, even though I spelt it wrong. But
it's right on here.
Your name will never, throughout Stapleford, and I can say parts of St. Anne's, you know, we'll always remember you. You're funny, but you're someone who never sits still. God help Donna. You know,
I'm my daughter.
You've got an heart of gold, and you're there for everyone. You know, you had an operation 2 weeks ago. No, not 2 weeks ago, just before the lockdown, on your knee. You were told to rest for 2 months. You haven't sat still. You know, you're there and everywhere. And for me, you're a tremendous person, and I'm grateful to know you, you know, and continue with the good work. Because, you know, I don't think we could have gone on without you. So thank you. Pastor Jermaine, you're a young man I've seen with a burning passion. You seem to ignite a lot of people as well and bring people together. You have that knack of telling you off without raising your voice, you know, and in the short time that we've met you, we've grown together as a people, you know, and the passion that I see that you have as a young person, don't ever let them flames go out. You know, between the both of you, you can set this world on fire. You know, so I see you both as young men with, it's selfless. It's not about you, it's about those around you, you know, and you're both young men who have got your mothers in your life, and that's another thing. Yeah. Richard, your mom she's amazing, you know, and I can see where you've got that from. Pastor Jermaine, you're always talking about your mother, and we're talking about having positive fathers in your lives. But I know that your nurturing sides have come from your moms, you know, so that's what I see in you two young men. So I see positive role models in you. I can say we were planning the men's appreciation, and I spoke to some young ladies to find out who was your role model and what would you say about them. They couldn't find a role model. Your father? No. Your uncle? No. Your brother? No. This is a sad thing when young women have no respect for men because they don't see men doing anything. Last week we had Justin and Alex on the show, and yes, they got licked for a lot of things that they said. But as a grown woman now who's gone through, you know, lifespan, they weren't all wrong. And for me, I'm saying our men need to get back into their position, you know, and it's not about doing community work either, because it starts at home. So I know with Kim, Kim has 3 children, and at the moment she's having to parent them the best that she could, just like I did. For you you two men, you're there with your family. And Richard, the fact that you said you started this walk because of your daughter, you wanted the best for her. Pastor Jermaine, you said the father should be the first man to date his daughter, take her out and show her how it should be done. Yeah, those 2 things are things that I would take away. And with the boys group that we work with, Boys to Men, we will start instilling that into them, because you have brought some positive things forward.
Aya.
Hello.
Someone's posed Justin Whedon has asked for you to answer that question. What legacy do you want to leave behind? Or
Justin, it's not about me today, so you know, I'll talk to you off. I'll talk to you about that. But you know, there's another young man watching, Solomon Pennant, and Solomon is in his 20s, I believe, and he's another young man that's following your footsteps. So I'm going to say thank you very much. Kim, would you want to say anything to our
our guests?
Yes.
I've enjoyed listening to both of you. I'm yet to meet Richard, but you seem like a great man to know. So I'm going to have to get to meet you at some point. There are quite a few community projects that I'd love to launch, you know, with my church Baccative. So yes, you seem like the man to, you know to get certain things done. You know, you spoke really well, and I love the fact that, you know, you started this for your child. I think that's a great thing to do. You know, I can also second that, you know, being able to do some stuff for my children or because of my children. So and then, you know, Pastor Jermaine, I know you so well. Now I feel like we've known you for a very long time. You're a great role model, even just as a overseeing minister. It's you know, it's wonderful to know you as a person. You're hilarious. I don't know why you weren't hilarious today. You make me laugh all the time. But you're such a nurturing person. I think definitely when we start having these community projects, getting together with Richard and other like-minded people to really get some youth community focus going, I think you know, it'd be great. I think you'd be a great person to you know, to head these things. Obviously, you know, Minister Chayah is, you know, the best when it comes to young people. She's young herself. So I think, you know, it's been a great team today. It's been wonderful to listen to you guys. You guys have really, honestly, it's like you've sparked an ignition in me to do something, to do more. Listening to both of you speak, it's been amazing. So I thank you both. And you just keep being great men, great role models.
Thank you.
And I'm going to put a appeal out there. Our Richard is driving around in it was red when it started out, right, Richard?
It's about 20 shades of red. Yeah.
She's almost pink now in colour. He's driving around, and Richard is driving miles just to collect stuff and support the communities with food stock and everything. So I'm putting an appeal out there. If there's anyone out there with what vehicle are we looking for, Richard?
I've always said if I won the lottery or if I found a wallet with a load of money in it and I couldn't find who to return it to, a bit like Christmas in Hollis with the Run DMC song, then it's meant to be for me. I would buy, if Vauxhall are listening, you get a free shout out here. Look, what we're after is, and it ain't for me, it's for the community. And when I say the community, I don't even just mean Stapleford, it's all of us, isn't it? If we can get a Vauxhall Vivara crew cab, it's a 6-seater, and we can get a driver, volunteers in it, and there's enough room in the back for a pallet, so we can stack it with food or anything else that we need. Because when you know, when someone says, oh, we need this, that, and the other, I always say to people, be careful what you wish for when you're with me, because we end up getting it, don't we?
We do.
You know, like the guy at the youth club needed some eggs, and I went to Tesco and they said, oh, we've got loads of eggs today, do you need them? And then he says, I could do with some flour. And I went somewhere else and they just went, oh, we've got loads of flour, do you need that? And you couldn't make it all, but it happens all the time. So, you know, it's funny, but if it's meant to be, it'll be, won't it? So the car will keep going until it goes. But yeah, we that's what we would like. It would be a community thing, wouldn't it? And a big community. A Vauxhall Vivara crew cab is what we're definitely after. But if it's meant to be, it'll be. That's why I don't worry at a minute.
Okay, thank you. And this is a shout out from Richard and the Chayah Project as well, and the Omega. We're always looking for volunteers to help with programs and projects that we're doing. And, you know, for me, volunteering is something I've done for the last 20 years, and the rewards that you get from that, you may not get paid, you know, in cash, but the rewards that you get from that is so fulfilling. So we are doing a shout out for volunteers. Richard and I work 8 days a week, you know, and we're out from 7 till 11 on most days. But I want to say thank you to Donna, who's your ride and die, Richard, and also to Pastor Jermaine. Pass our best wishes on to Pastor Dion, who, because of her support, you're able to do what you're doing. And Kimberly, you know, I love you, and you're a young woman that I can see you will be sat when I'm in my rocking chair, you know, pulling the youth forward. So thank you all for coming on Real Talk today. And today again, we had Richard McRae from Stapleford, Nottinghamshire. He's an independent councillor. He's food bank, furniture removal man. He's everywhere. We've got Pastor Jermaine Shaw from the Omega Church, who's also an outreach worker and prison visits. And we've got Kimberly, who's a mini me. I'm just gonna say that. So thank you all for coming on. I wish you the best for the rest of the day. Enjoy the sunshine, and I'll speak to you all soon. Thank you all today.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
And thank you everyone who's been watching as well. Thank you.
Thank everyone for watching.